A few weeks ago, one of the most powerful AI models ever released was gone. Not because it failed, not because something better replaced it, because the United States government stepped in and ordered it off the internet within hours. That model was Claude Fable 5, and almost at the exact same moment it disappeared, something else quietly appeared. A system some developers are already calling the closest thing to Fable-level intelligence you can still actually use. This is the story of what happened, why it matters, and what comes next. To understand the size of this moment, you need to know what Fable 5 actually was. Anthropic released Claude Fable 5 on June 9th, 2026, and the AI world immediately took notice. Anthropic described it as a step into a new class of capability, something they called Mythos class, which sat above anything they had ever made publicly available. The model was especially powerful at finding software vulnerabilities. Security researchers began documenting how it could autonomously identify and exploit weaknesses in test environments. It was not just smarter than the models before it, it was a different kind of smart entirely. Then, 4 days after launch, everything changed. On the evening of June 12th, 2026, the U.S. Commerce Department sent a letter directly to Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. The Trump administration invoked emergency national security provisions and ordered the company to immediately suspend access to both Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for any foreign national, whether inside or outside the United States. The order even included Anthropic's own non-citizen employees. Because the scope was so wide, Anthropic said it had no choice but to disable both models for every customer worldwide. A product that had been available to the public for 4 days was gone overnight. This was the first time in history that the US government had retroactively pulled a commercially available AI model using export controls. For developers who had built workflows around the model, for researchers testing it, and for companies planning to use it, the disruption was immediate. Anthropic said it believed the order was a misunderstanding and was working to restore access. But the message from Washington was clear. The most powerful AI models are now treated like controlled weapons, and that changes the rules for everyone. But here is where it gets interesting. On the very same day Fable 5 went offline, a company called OpenRouter launched something it had been quietly building called Fusion, and the timing could not have been more pointed. OpenRouter is a platform that gives developers access to hundreds of AI models through a single API. They had a different theory about how to reach top-level performance without depending on any one model from any one company. The idea behind Fusion is simple on the surface, but actually quite clever underneath. Instead of sending your question to one model and trusting it to do its best alone, Fusion sends your question to a panel of models at the same time. Each model has access to the same tools, including web search and the ability to run code. Each model researches the question independently and produces its own answer. Then a judge model reads all of those answers together. It maps out where the models agree, where they disagree, what each one caught that the others missed, and what everyone forgot to consider. Finally, a synthesizer writes one clean final answer that reflects all of those perspectives. OpenRouter found that about 3/4 of Fusion's performance gain comes from that synthesis step alone. The rest comes from having different models bring different angles to the same problem. One model can sound very confident while quietly missing a major assumption. When several models have to disagree with each other first, those blind spots get exposed before the final answer is written. To test how well this worked, OpenRouter used a benchmark called Draco, built by Perplexity AI. Draco has 100 research tasks spread across 10 areas, including law, medicine, finance, technology, and product comparison. Each answer is scored against roughly 39 weighted criteria. Factual accuracy counts heavily, and wrong answers carry a penalty, so writing long responses to seem thorough does not help. The benchmark is designed to test the kind of hard research that people actually use frontier models for in real life. The results were striking, every single one of the top 4. Scores came from Fusion panels, not from any individual model running alone. The best combination used Fable 5 and GPT 5.5 as the panel, with Claude Opus 4.8 doing the synthesis. That setup scored 69%. Fable 5 by itself scored 65.3%. GPT 5.5 alone scored 60%. Claude Opus 4.8 alone scored 58.8%. The Fusion panel beat even the model it was using as its synthesizer by a wide margin, and it beat Fable 5 itself, the model that had just been banned for being too powerful. Most people do not know this part. OpenRouter also ran Opus 4.8 twice in a panel, using it to synthesize against itself. Even that setup scored 65.5%, which is a 6.7-point jump over running Opus 4.8 once alone. That shows some of the lift comes from the synthesis process itself, not just from combining different model families. Run the same model twice and it may search differently, find different sources, and reason through different paths. The synthesizer then keeps what works best from both runs. But the result that really got developers talking was the budget panel. OpenRouter combined 3 models that cost well below frontier pricing: Gemini 3 Flash, Kimi K2.6, and DeepSeek Vi 4 Pro. That panel scored 64.7%. Fable 5 scored 65.3%. The gap was just 0.6 percentage points, and the budget panel cost roughly half as much to run. For teams processing millions of requests every month, that cost difference changes the entire economics of running an an AI product. A company generating 10 million output tokens a day at Fable level pricing could be paying between $90,000 and $150,000 per month. With the budget Fusion panel, that could fall closer to $40,000 to $60,000. Same quality, half the bill. OpenRouter also pointed out one detail that matters. Both Solo models and Fusion panels had access to the exact same tools, the same web search, and the same ability to run code. Fusion did not win because it had better tools. It won because multiple models attacked the same question from different angles, and a judge caught what each one missed. That is a structural advantage no single model can replicate by itself, no matter how large it is. Now, OpenRouter was honest about the limits of their results, and that matters a lot here. Fable 5's score carries an asterisk because 7 of the 100 tasks were blocked by the model's own content filters, meaning it only completed 93 tasks. Direct comparisons are slightly uneven. OpenRouter also discovered partway through testing that models with web search accidentally found the Draco grading rubric online. They blocked those domains before the final runs. And there is an obvious point worth saying clearly. This is OpenRouter measuring its own product. Independent testing would make the case much stronger. There is also one area where Fusion does not replace Fable 5. Fable 5 was apparently at its strongest in what researchers call long horizon tasks. These are jobs where an AI needs to work through many connected steps over a long stretch of time. Browsing, coding, planning, fixing its own errors, and staying consistent throughout. Fusion works best when models can research the same question in parallel, but tasks where every step builds on the one before need one model to hold full context and stay on track the whole way through. Fusion can struggle there because blending answers across models at different stages can break the chain of reasoning. So what does all of this mean for the bigger picture? The Fable 5 ban was a warning shot that no developer or company can ignore. Even if a model is publicly available today, a government directive can pull it offline within hours. That is a new kind of risk nobody had built contingency plans for. OpenRouter's Fusion is one direct answer to that risk. It does not depend on any single model or any single company. If one model disappears, the panel adjusts. The architecture itself is the protection, and the fact that a combined panel of cheaper models can match a banned frontier model on deep research shows that raw model size is no longer the only path to top performance. The AI world just learned something it needed to learn the hard way. Depending on one model is a fragile strategy. The teams that build around model diversity and flexible infrastructure are going to be in a much stronger position when the next disruption comes. And based on what we saw in June 2026, there will be a next time. What do you think? Is a multi-model approach the future of serious AI work, or will one dominant model always win? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe if you want to stay ahead on everything happening in AI. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.